What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. First of all, easy on the negativity, man. I have noticed, now that I've been doing these Thor videos and stuff like that, some of y'all are really hating, man. Don't be such haters. You have to remember, we are people. Thor is people. Eddie is people. So always remember that when you say certain things, we're individuals, okay? We're creators. We have feelings, and I'm not saying like poor me, blah 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 blah. We tend to have a little bit thicker skin than some others, but also understand the internet is a very real source of like transfer shit mentally to us. Okay, so please understand. Try to articulate your comments in a way that is understood in a positive way. I think it's great that everybody weighs in. I don't care if you're for Eddie. I don't care if you're for Thor. It doesn't really matter. Everybody's got their favorite. It's just like why sports are important. So I want to do a little response to Eddie's statement earlier. He responded, first of all, he responded and he said, by the way, I'm currently eating the vertical diet. That looks really bad, I know. It's like what's left. I'm going to finish what's in here. Eddie, oh crap. It's bison is what I'm eating. 2 pounds of bison a day. Vertical diet. Stan Efferding. It's like what a lot of strong men eat. Thor eats it. Oh shit. I'm not eating it for that reason because Thor is. I'm training for a powerlifting meet, and my strength has been through the roof. It's been really, really beneficial. So they did an interview. Eddie, I think he did like a live or something like that. Nick Strength and Power was talking about some different things, and I watched on his channel. By the way, go subscribe to Nick Strength and Power. With him, it's like a love-hate relationship, to be honest, in all honesty. I feel like maybe we would be friends if we knew each other, but I'm a hater of Nick, but I'm probably one of his most loyal watchers, because there's nobody else out there that does the same content. So although I don't agree with all of his views, I watch most of his videos. So thank you, Nick, for the continued positive content. And thank you specifically for focusing a lot on strongman right now. I'm not all for the 100% bodybuilding thing, whether it's men's physique or open bodybuilding and stuff like that. So I'm not as educated on that, but I've watched strongman since I was like 10, 5, whatever, little kid, when I was clicking my little console TV. Eddie said something in the regards of when he did the log press thing, he ended up having a hurt ankle and he was going for a world record, and he was talking about like Giants Live, how they're a great nation, and how the big daddy or whatever is world's strongest man, and I agree with that. There's always going to be like spin-offs, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be companies that are trying to capitalize on stuff, and a good uh, a good understanding of that would be the Olympia versus the Arnold Classic versus the Exticon or whatever the hell that one thing is that the Rock's doing. What is it called? Anyway, um, there's always going to be spin-offs because somebody wants in on it and then they want to be the next new big thing. So I believe that World's Strongest Man, as far as all the records and stuff like that, they're going to be good. He said he tried to go back and get the log press, after being better, and he wanted to do it in whatever situation. And he's talking about how they wouldn't let him, and he thinks that that's probably a good idea. And the reason he thinks that's a good idea is because if he was doing them in the gym or at home or whatever, then it would just be like whatever, and nobody takes it takes it for what it is, like a real valid thing and stuff like that. So here's the thing. He's only, I feel, and it's not, obviously I'm not inside Eddie's head, I don't know, but it seems very realistic that he's saying these things because he wants to adapt a situation in which he was screwed. Not screwed, but like, you know, let down, and he wanted to get a thing, get a world record, and they didn't let him and stuff like that. So he's trying to create a situation in which you can adapt your mind and understand how he got let down and how Thor should also not do the thing. You're going to see a lot of people try to go on, and at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my prediction of what I think Thor will lift and can lift, if I remember. Here's the thing. Obviously, we know the whole world's shut down, right? The whole world is all screwed up, and it's all crazy, and there's nothing that any of us could have done about it to change anything, right? We all agree on that. We all agree that social distancing is a thing. We can't do like powerlifting meets. We can't do, you know, World's Strongest Man. We can't do big venues. We can't do Arnold Classic. We can't do bodybuilding shows. We can't even go to the movie theaters. You can't go to certain restaurant stores. The world's whack, right? So first, you have to understand, I understand the idea of it not being in a competition setting, okay? And what you have to understand is that Thor is not necessarily trying to verse Eddie. It's not him trying to say, I am going to beat your world record in the exact same scenario as you did. Because that's just not how it happens, okay? It's like saying, for instance, the plank world record was just beat. I think it was a female years back that had 8 hours and 1 minute. Now it was a 62 or 65-year-old man or something like that that got like 8 hours and 18 minutes or something like that, crazy, which is insane. Now, one was a guy, one was a girl, and I don't know what all the situations were, but the ages are different. The scenario is probably different. Maybe one was done in a doctor's office, maybe one was done at a home. They had a judge. You know, everything is different. If somebody does a world record, you know, baseball stuff or something like that, all the scenarios are different, dude. Like, the ball didn't go exactly the same distance when they hit home runs or something like that. You can't match world records up for up other than just, it is what it is. Like, how many home runs? Not the significance of the home runs. Did the home runs win games? Were the home runs at home? Were the home runs, you know, in an actual like World Series? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different scenarios in which we could like tip for tat, like just go back and forth, and it would never work. The reality is home runs versus home runs, deadlift versus deadlift. I mean, yes, you did, Eddie Hall, you did do it at Giants Live in a competition. But the reality was, we all know that the competition was surrounded for the reason of that purpose. Basically, like, the whole show was for you to lift that. And Thor's whole show thing that he's doing is for him to lift the weight. Now, you know damn well, Eddie, and anybody else that is on his side, which is fine. Eddie's a great champion. There's no doubt about that. He's a strong, extremely strong individual. But you know damn well that Thor was going to do it in the competition. He had trained completely 100% for the competition to do it in the Middle East or whatever, and to do it at a show. Okay? But here's the thing. It's literally about, like, Thor's not going to walk up to the bar, okay? He's not going to walk up to the bar and lift the weight off the ground on his first set. He's going to work up to it. He's going to lift all the lifts before, just like it were in a competition that was prepared for one individual, in all honesty. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, in reality, like, you weren't really competing against other people, Eddie, because you were the only one training for the 501. Like, at the time, Thor, all these other individuals were not concerning themselves with this specific goal, if that makes sense. So even if Thor, and I think this might have been a good idea if we weren't dealing with social distancing and stuff, it would be nice to have other people come in and try to, do the whole things and stuff like that. And then, have the time in between. And to be honest, I think it would put him in a better situation. Like, you get the amped upness of the actual meet. Like, he's having to do it, on his own. And I think, to be honest, like, at the meet, if he was doing like deadlift only, because let's be honest, you're not doing a powerlifting meet. You're not doing bench, deadlift, squat. Like, you're going in there and you're specifically doing the deadlift only. Okay, that's it. And it's not, the thing that you have to remember is it's strongman, dude. It's not powerlifting, okay? It is just only and nothing more than a single title of the world record deadlift. That's it. Okay? It doesn't need to be in a sanctioned meet. It has to have a judge. It has to be a world record. And that's it. It's like saying David Goggins or something like that, if he did 50,000 push-ups or 50,000 pull-ups in 24 hours, that he had to do it while other people were attempting to. That's just silly, because the world has all the availability right now to do those pull-ups, to do those deadlifts, to practice, to train, to build up, to do their 5x5s and 5-3-1s, and they're peaking whatever they're doing. They all 7 billion people in the world have the ability to train and beat the exact same thing that Thor's doing. And I would never anticipate anybody having to do it in a setting. It's not he's not trying for a powerlifting number. Okay, these aren't his 3 compound lifts, you guys. It's just a guy that's going to lift the most weight in a deadlift off the ground. That's it. Okay? That's all. That's like saying if you lifted a car from the back, you had to do it in a sanctioned thing. Like, he's not doing it for strongman. He's doing it for the entire world, which I think in all actuality opens it up to the entire world. Because think about it. There's probably some really, really strong deadlifters that will never, ever, ever even want or need or feel the desire to compete in strongman. So I think it's good. Because, yeah, you got the Jerry Pritchett, and I say that because he's from Phoenix and that's where I live. You got the Eddie Hall, you got Brian Shaw, you got all these guys that are strongmen, but there is some really strong ass people that don't do strongmen. Maybe they're really strong deadlifters, but they can't shoulder press because they have shoulder injuries or whatever. I'm using that as an example because I have a shoulder injury or whatever, but that's a real thing. There's certain things that strongmen would not be, or maybe their height. I'm a pretty short guy. And when you got strongmen that are 6'9", 450 pounds, yeah, maybe I'm a pretty good sized dude, like 250 pounds, 240 pounds, whatever, and I'm only 5'8". So it's like, you're strong, but how strong? You know what I mean? Like, So I really think it's a good thing that he is doing it in a controlled setting. He's keeping it up. He's staying true to his program because in all reality, that's extremely important. The thing is, pull the weight, set the bar for the next level, for the next person. And in all honesty, I think this is a very healthy, positive, good way where there's like going to be a doctor, there's going to be a small group of people. I think it's very good to be able to, when people lift extreme weights like this, to have it in a very closed type of thing. You know, it would not even be a bad idea to put like electrolysis on him and stuff like that. And if that's even the word, but actually see what their body goes through. Study the process, understand the process so we can take these immense physical strengths to the next level. And the athletes of tomorrow will be able to do absolutely beautiful and crazy things that our mind could not even conceive right now. Now, granted, it's not every day you see somebody as big as Eddie Hall. It's not every day you see somebody as big as Brian Shaw or Thor. These are very massive people. And I think Eddie Hall's like 6'3". I think Brian Shaw's like 6'5", and I think Thor's 6'9". So it is, in all actuality, a size thing as well. And I'm not saying that smaller people can't lift a lot of weight, but you got to imagine when you're starting to break certain barriers, like size will be a major factor. And, you know, you can only push so far, and then eventually you're going to have to put on some size. And I will say that the amount of size that these individuals have, you know, if my quad's this long and their quad's this long, they're going to have an advantage. And I'm not saying like an easy way, you know, they're going to have to train that much harder. They're going to have to lift that much more weights to be able to maximize that. But it's like a 4-foot basketball player playing against a bunch of people that are 7'4". If he can't slam the ball or like aggressively get through the situation, unfortunately, that's not going to benefit. So you have to remember that. But here's the thing. I think Thor's going to pull it. I know he's going to pull the 501. Of course, if, you know, there's, you know, chance for injury and stuff like that, I don't think it's likely. I wouldn't mind if he shaved up his beard a little bit, but he's eating a lot. He's eating a lot, man. He's chilling and he's relaxed and he's on top of the world, and that's good. And I think every person that does something great like that is eventually going to get knocked to the next position. But here's the thing. Eddie, you were the strongest deadlifter in the world for 4 years. Okay? That's an amazing achievement. Okay? 4 years. 4 years. You got a lot of hungry people that probably wanted to take that from you, and they weren't able to. So it took 4 years. So, Eddie, dude, stand proud. Like, you held a world record of deadlift for 4 years. Like, that's a massive thing. That's a big freaking deal. And be honored that it took somebody as massive as an actual closest thing you can actually get to a damn giant to beat that. And I'm not saying it's beat yet, because obviously it's not. And that takes, you know, that the proof is in the pudding. I believe Thor is going to pull the 501. I believe he's probably going to take a next jump. And I feel like he's probably going to, I don't know what the percentages are on his lifting and stuff like that, but I would assume, you know, he's not he's peaking, and he's going to peak at that. So I would say, you know, he may just throw it for the next jump to be 520. If he hits 520, which I think, I feel like he could probably do it. I feel like he could do the 520. I feel like if he does that, he might take it to the next level and possibly go a little bit too far. And it's not because I feel like he's weak by any means or anything, but if you do any type of deadlifting, or if you do any type of powerlifting or heavy lifts like that, and you pull maxes and stuff like that, there's a point in which you're just gassed out. You don't have anything. And you're talking like 1,100 pounds. You're not talking like, and it's the same. Like, I pull 565 as my max, and if I tried to pull 565 and I'm actually hitching and stuff like that and really struggling to get it up, I'm probably not even going to get to 575. Like, it would be a freaking miracle if I hit another 10 pounds. So the fact that I think he's going to pull 501 and he's just going to get that seated, you know, so he can feel that. And then he's going to be pumped up. He's probably going to pull 520. I don't think he's going to have an issue with it. I think he will probably try to jump to the 530. And I think maybe he might just fall short and he'll just be gassed completely out at that point. I could be wrong. I don't know. And I just think it's interesting because it's only a few days out. How many days do we got until May 2nd? How many days until May 2nd?
May 2nd, 2020 is in 6 days.
6 days, you guys. We got less than a week. So it's exciting. I'm pumped up. Eddie, good job, man, on your whole career. Good job on, you know, kicking off all the other stuff that you've done. In the last 3 years since you retired, dude, like you have come up with a significant amount of things. Like your YouTube channel does really well. You do all these little talks and sponsorships, and you're doing really good, man. And I think what we have to remember is, you know, Thor is in his thing right now, and Eddie was in his thing, and I will I will say that Eddie said one thing that I did not agree with. He said, "In my prime and this time, when I pulled the 501, I probably could have pulled the 520." Shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay? And I think if you could have pulled 520, you would have pulled 520. And I'm not saying that you couldn't have kept training for that. But I think at the time, the 501 was the bar that you were trying to set. And I don't think you were ready for 520. And the only reason I'm saying that is because of what it looked like afterwards. It didn't look like you could have handled, you know, another 19 kilos or whatever. And I could be wrong. I don't know. And you could be right, and I could be right, and you could be wrong. But there's really no way to tell. I think if you had challenged yourself and tried to go from that point and maybe cycled back in, you probably could have had a great chance at doing it. But I guess that at the point of which you pulled 501, I feel like that was probably your max at the time, which, to stand the testament of time, for the last 4 years, it's been the biggest deadlift of all times. So it's not like, don't minimize, you know, saying that you could have pulled 520 by only pulling 501, because, dude, that's a big number and you should be damn proud of that. And I know you are. We all know you are. And for rightfully so. Like, it's a significant amount of weight. It's a damn car, you know, so which is absolutely amazing. So Thor, I wish you luck. Eddie, I also wish you the best of luck with all of your ventures, and I know you're going to do amazing. You have an amazing career ahead of you, and stand tall because you've done absolutely great. Brian Shaw, I watched yesterday that he had a video with Thor, and I feel like Brian kind of plays back and forth on whatever, and I'm not going to say it, but like, it's so funny because all these people are starting to finally come over and, you know, accept the whole thing and stuff like that, and people are being more positive because they know damn well, like, I'm not saying they're shaking in their boots, but we all know Thor's getting ready to pull some significant freaking weight and to shake the entire world. And I don't think it should have to be in a sanctioned lift because it's a single lift, and the world's closed down right now. And I don't feel that just because the world's closed down that he is cheating in any way, shape, or form. So that being said, I wish you guys all the best of luck with your lifting. Stay safe. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. If you like my video, I would love to see what your prediction below is for what you think Thor is going to pull. And put it in kilos. It's fun to kind of play with that, especially being from America. We don't use kilos and stuff like that, unless you're in like powerlifting and doing different things. So you'll see the numbers there. So remember to spread love, not hate. Drink your damn water. Stay on track. Go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like my channel. Have a good day, and thank you so much. #TeamBoo. Bye.